Alright, so today's lesson is solving quadratics by factoring. Okay, you should notice these trinomials. We've factored these already, so you should know how to do those. Then we're going to look for the a value, the b value, and the c value. Okay, if the a value is 1, you're going to go ahead and start your binomials with an x for both of the first terms there. Then we're looking to see what multiplies to give us the c value and adds to give us the b value. In this case, that's pretty easy to see that that is a positive 4 and a positive 1. Okay, the one down below here, a little more difficult. When the a value is greater than 1, we have to first multiply the a times the c value. In this case, that is 2 times the 14, so that's 28. Then we have to determine which factors of 28 add up to give us our b value. Okay, in this case, 28 times 1 equals 28, as well as 28 plus 1 is our b value of 29. Okay, so what you want to do using the shortcut method, just write it as x plus 28 and x plus 1. Okay, since we have that a value of 2, we then have to divide each term by that a value. If it simplifies, this 28 divided by 2, if it simplifies to a whole number, just go ahead and rewrite that as a whole number. So in this case, 28 divided by 2 is 14, so we'll write that as x plus 14. If it doesn't simplify, and we can't reduce it any further, in this case, the 1/2, what you want to do is take the 2, put it in front of the x, and keep the 1 as it is where it is. So that becomes 2x plus 1. Okay, the next slide here just reads the fundamental theorem of algebra. It states that any equation will have the same number of solutions as the degree of that equation. Since all quadratics are to the second degree, they will all have 2 solutions, and although those 2 answers may be the same number. Okay, so if we look at any 2 things in general, say x and y, if I'm multiplying x times y and the result equals 0, then what do we know about either x or y? Well, it means that either x or y must be 0. Okay, next term here is the zero product property. It just states that for every real number a and b, if you multiply those 2 things together and the result equals 0, then a or b must equal 0. For example, if let's say we factored a trinomial and got x plus 3 and x plus 2, and that's set equal to 0, then we must know that x plus 3 equals 0 or x plus 2 equals 0. And then we just take each factor, set it equal to 0, and solve each individual equation for x. Okay, in order to solve quadratics by factoring, if it's not already set equal to 0, set it equal to 0. If you start out with y equals your trinomial, just rewrite it as that same trinomial equals 0. We're going to factor the trinomial and then use the zero product property to solve for x. We will have 2 answers. Okay, in this case, each one's factored for us. So you're just going to take each factor, set them equal to 0, and solve for x on each. Okay, so that's x minus 4 equals 0, x plus 3 equals 0. Okay, to get x by itself, we're simply going to add 4 to both sides. So x equals 4. In this case, we would subtract 3 on both sides, get x equals -3. Okay, there's our two distinct solutions. Next set, okay, it's been factored for us. 2x minus 8 equals 0. 3x plus 9 equals 0. Okay, solve each equation individually. So on this one, I'd add 8 first. I'm left with 2x equals 8. Divide by 2. X equals 4. Next one, subtract 9. 3x equals -9. Divide by 3. So then x equals -3. Okay, so now let's start from the beginning here. We've got our trinomial. In this case, the a value is 1, b value is -8, c value is -48. If the a value is 1, we're going to factor. Start each binomial with an x term. Okay, our c value is negative. That means 1 must be positive, 1 must be negative. Okay, if you need help with this, list the factors of 48. 1 and 48, 2 and 24, 3 and 16, and what else we got? 4 and 12, and 6 and 8. Okay, so let's look through here. If c is negative, that means if b is negative, it means our larger factors must be negative. And then look to see, among these sets of numbers, which of these add up to give me a -8. In this case, that is the +4 and the -12. So I write that in here, and that's set equal to 0. Now use the zero product property. X plus 4 equals 0. X minus 12 equals 0. Solve each one individually. Subtract 4. X equals -4. Add 12. X equals 12. Okay, sometimes you may get an equation where you have to add or subtract terms before we factor. When we solve any quadratic, we want one side to equal 0. So in this case, we'll add 8 to both sides first. And when we do that, that gives us x squared plus 6x plus 8 equals 0. Now we can factor. So a value is 1. Start with an x on both binomials. Multiplies the 8. Adds to give us 6. It's 4 and 2. Okay, so now use the zero product property. Set each factor equal to 0. Solve each one individually. X equals -4 and x equals -2.